Hey everybody, how you doing today? Mark here. I'm getting ready to make my dinner tonight, and what we're going to do is we're going to make my favorite sandwich for dinner, and that is the Cubano. Some people call it just a Cuban sandwich, but I call it the Cubano. That's just the way I've always known it to be called. But we got to get a few things prepped. It's kind of early in the day, so I want to get my pork going. It's going to take at least 8 hours to cook off the pork because we're going to do it in the slow cooker. But let me show you what I got. I got all my mise en place laid out here on the counter. Let's get into this. I have about 2 pound, maybe 1 3/4, but about 2 pound piece of pork shoulder, pork butt, Boston butt, whatever you want to call it. And I just cut it off myself. I have the rest of the butt for another meal. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of both the oregano and the cumin, just maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. What I'm going to do with all this stuff here is I'm going to make a little rub and rub it on the meat. I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 4 cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to crush them. I'm not mincing them. And about a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Now what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to put the oil, garlic, and red pepper flake in a cast iron skillet. Once I get the rub on the meat goes into the skillet. Once I get the meat in the skillet, we're just going to brown it off real quick, put that into a crock pot. Once the meat is browned off, I'm going to put all this stuff in the crock pot. I'm going to mince up an onion, just 1 cup of orange juice, the juice of 1 lime, 1 cup of chicken broth, and then just a couple of bay leaves. Okay, so let's go ahead and make up our rub. I want 2 teaspoons of oregano. I need 2 teaspoons of cumin. I decided I'm going to go with a 1/2 teaspoon of salt instead of a 1/4. You of course can do it to your own tastes. Same thing with the black pepper. I'm going to go with a 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm just going to take this, just mix it up just a little bit. There you go. So that's what it looks like. Let me grab some gloves real quick. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that rub, put it all over this pork. Just really rub it in there. All sides. Don't worry about that stuff because we can pick that up later. All this loose stuff, just try to get as much of it onto the meat as possible. Make sure you get the ends. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's just pull that off. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, now for the stuff that goes into the skillet with the meat, I need 4 garlic cloves. Just peel it out of its nice, convenient package. I want about 4 of them. If you have smaller cloves, you might want to use like 5, maybe even 6. There we go. I quickly grabbed another clove, so I've actually got 5 cloves. Doesn't really matter. But if you've never crushed garlic, don't bother peeling it until you've actually crushed it, because then it's a lot easier. Just take your knife, put it down on the board, make sure the blade is kind of downward, and when you strike, you're going to strike the flat of the blade, making sure you don't cut yourself. Just like that. That's 1 crushed garlic clove right there. And then you can just take the paper and peel it off. Nice and simple. So let me show you again. Garlic clove under the knife. Knife is nice and flat. Just nice little crush. You can whack it a couple of times if you need to. And then the paper just pulls right off. Broke apart a little bit, but not bad. Oh. Those were actually extra pieces that were trapped inside that one little clove. They're all wrapped together, so we'll use it anyway. Same with this one, had an extra clove in there. Again, we'll use it. The thing about working with fresh garlic like this is it gets really sticky. Broke that one in half. Oh well, no biggie. Last one. There we go. Oh, that nice crushed garlic. Awesome. All right, so let's go over to the skillet. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to brown off the meat. So I'm going to put this on a medium-high heat. Going to squeeze in my 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to put in that crushed garlic. And then I'm also going to measure out my 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flake. So once I smell the garlic and the red pepper flake kind of getting infused into that oil, I'll put the meat in and we'll start searing that off. That's a good smell right there. Oh, that is so wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer. It's almost to that point where I can start browning off the meat. And then once the meat's browned, I'll put it in the crock pot. Just rotate the pan, make sure that it's getting evenly heated. You do have to be very careful with garlic because if you burn it, it gets really bitter. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and put the meat in. Now, we're putting it in there and we're just gonna let it sit for like maybe 2 minutes, okay? Just leave it alone. Don't sit there and poke at it and stuff like that. Just let it in and leave it. Okay, that's been about 2 minutes. Roll it over on the opposite side. See, you got a nice little crust right there. I'm gonna rotate my pan again to get that heat to disperse around. Kind of toss around my garlic just a little bit. That's browning off nicely too. Oh yeah, that's looking real good. That's looking real good right there. Yeah, it is. All right, that's been a couple more minutes. I'm just gonna put it up on its side right now. Just kind of hold it. Okay, last roll. Rotate the pan one more time. Whew, look at all that smoke. Okay, I'm going to cut the heat. I'm going to put the pork shoulder and all the oil, the garlic and everything right into it. I'm not going to worry about all those little items stuck to the bottom of the pan. Let's go down and get the rest of the ingredients ready to be put in the crock pot. So I've got a kettle down on the stove, just heating up for the water to make my chicken broth. But for now, while that's heating up, I can chop up my onion. Now you could actually slice this, but if you decide to slice it, go with a very, very thin slice. I am not. I am going to dice it, but I'm going to make a fairly fine dice. I don't like the way that top layer is looking, so I'm going to pull that off. There. Just seemed a little dry. Yeah, kind of the same with this one. I'm just going to pull that last layer off there. And there we go. There's the onion. And I just got to wait for that water and I can make up my chicken stock. Okay, my water is just about to a boil. I've got my onions in the crock pot. Put my broth packet into my measuring cup, kill the heat, measure up my 1 cup, take my tongs, just kind of do a quick little mix on it, pour that in. Sorry guys, I thought I had the camera going. I didn't. I've already put in my chopped onions. I might have actually caught it on there, but I don't know how well the sound's going to come out. But I put my chopped onions in there. I put my chicken broth in there. I'm now going to measure out 1 cup of my orange juice. I'll drink the rest of that. 1 cup of orange juice. That goes in. I'm gonna get 2 bay leaves. Those go in. And split the lime in half. And I'll just squeeze out as much juice as I can. Okay, there's juice out of 1 half. Okay, there's the juice out of the second half. I'll put the lid on and put it on low, and we'll go for 8 hours. So the pan, I quickly washed it, got off all the red pepper flake, garlic, and oil. And then I put it back on the burner on just a medium-low heat just to evaporate the water off. Now, if I was done with the pan, I would coat it in a little bit of veggie oil and put it away for storage. However, I'm not done using the pan. We are going to use this for the final stage of actually making the sandwich. So I'll see you guys in a few hours. Well, for me, it'll be a few hours. For you, it's going to be like that. All right, it's time to turn the crock pot off. It doesn't need to cook any longer. It looks pretty good. Now what I'll do is I'm just going to let that meat sit in the liquid. As it cools, it will absorb some of the liquid that's inside of there and really get the meat nice and flavorful. And for now, that's just it. Once it cools down enough, I'll start shredding it. All right, guys, I think it's been long enough. It's been probably a good hour and a half or so since I actually turned the heat off on the crock pot. Yeah. And all I gotta do is just sit here and just shred this apart. And it should just literally fall apart. Yeah. Yep, that's falling apart nicely. I need to hurry up and do this because Missy's starting to wake up. And I know Jen's gonna be waking up pretty soon. And she needs to get ready for work, get her lunch together and stuff, so. Then when I get enough done, I'll just pick it up with my tongs and put it right back into the crock pot where all that flavor is. All right, so I'll just keep on doing this and I'll get back to you guys when I'm done. All right, guys, so just after a couple of minutes, I got it all shredded up. And then we'll just stir it in a little. Get everything nice and coated with that sauce. Bay leaf, I suppose I can pull that one out now. I'll see if I can try to find the other one. Oh, there it is. All right, yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good. All right. All right, guys, so the pork is completely done. Now all I gotta do is wait for dinner time. I mean, I can take that stuff, put it in the refrigerator, freeze it, whatever I want to do. I can just hold on to it and just have the Cubano sandwiches whenever I want them. But that's for dinner tonight. So what we got to do now is actually prep for the sandwiches. And it's really nothing. You'll need sliced Swiss cheese and sliced ham, Dijon mustard. You can use French's if you want, you know, just a standard yellow mustard, but Dijons are better. And some pickles. Now, I think the tradition is a dill pickle. I could be wrong about that, but I've also seen people use butter pickles. And I think that's what Jen picked up in groceries. So we'll use butter pickles. Okay, guys, it's finally here. Time to start making the sandwiches. First off, we got to go down to the stove and turn a couple burners on. Yes, I said a couple. Okay, as you can see, I've got 2 cast iron skillets. I am going to set them both on just maybe under medium heat. And actually this one is a small burner element, so I'm going to keep that one up a little bit higher. So yeah, that one's right around medium heat. Okay, so let's start making the sandwiches. Look down here. Okay, I've got a long French roll or French bread, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to make this probably about 6 inches long. That'll be enough for one sandwich there. And then I'm going to cut that in half lengthwise. Of course, make sure you don't cut your hand wide open. Now, the tradition is to use a Dijon mustard. If you do not like Dijon mustard, go ahead and use a French's or a yellow mustard of some sort. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some cheese on here. This is Swiss cheese. I'm actually going to break the slice in half. That way I can put one slice on one side, and then I'm going to put a second slice on the other. Just like that. And I'm going to put on a little bit of ham. This is a Black Forest ham. See, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 slices right there. And that's all I'm going to need. All right, going to come way down here. I'm going to put on some of this nice pork down here. Oh yeah, that looks really good. You can see the juices dripping off. I'm trying to drain it off a little bit, but I also want to keep some of those juices. All right, so there's that. And now these are the butter pickles. And I think these are the more traditional, but you can use dills if you'd like. And I am going to cover the entire sandwich with these pickles. All right, so just like that, flip the other side over. And there we go. Whoops. Got a lot of juice dripping out. I don't want to lose all that, so try not to push it down. All right, let's go back down to the stove. Okay, my pans are starting to get hot. I'm going to take a little bit of olive oil and just baste on the top. Put in a bit of oil at the bottom of the pan, and it's nice and smoky already. That's great. So put that down, grab my other pan, put that on top, and I've also got another cast iron pan as a weight, and I'm just going to sit here and kind of hold it. See all that steam and the sizzling going on? That's what you're wanting. This is going to take probably about 2, maybe 3 minutes. Now, of course, you don't need to do a separate cast iron skillet for this. I do highly recommend at least having a cast iron skillet for the one here on the top. If you use an aluminum or stainless steel for the bottom, that's fine. But you want a metal on top that will really retain the heat. And if you don't have another cast iron skillet to use as a secondary weight in the pan, you can use like a couple of food cans or even a brick wrapped in foil. You know, that can work too. You know, just a couple of bricks in there. All right, I got a spatula here just to help dislodge it from the bottom of this pan. It will typically stick. Yeah, that's not too bad. Put that right back on the burner to get it ready for the next one. Yep, see my crust slid just a little bit, no worries. Take that, and there you go. I'm going to flip this over so you can see the bottom. Yep, nice and crusty on the bottom. That's awesome. I like that. All right, so there you go, guys. Cubano sandwich, or a Cuban sandwich. Ooh, still nice and hot. Mmm. Oh, God, that's so good. I lost my pickle. The cheese melted well. Sorry. It's probably kind of disgusting to watch me eat, huh? The cheese melted well, but I think I could probably put 2 slices of cheese on each side, because the cheese is what's really supposed to hold the whole sandwich together. The pork is fabulous. You got that garlic and a little bit of that heat from the red pepper. I mean, not a whole lot, but you can tell it was in there. And then you got the orange juice, all that citrus, the orange juice, the lime juice. Yeah, you can taste it all. I haven't made Cubano sandwiches in probably 2 years, and it's really sad because I love this sandwich. I really do. All right, well, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the road.